Welcome, it's Cosmic Girl bringing you your horoscope for the month of April in this video. How you doing, Aries rising signs? I do hope you're doing well. Before we get into specific dates that I think are going to be really important for the Aries rising signs out there, let's talk about the transit of your ruling planet, which is Mars. So Mars, opening up the month of April, is still transiting in Pisces, your natal 12th house. So Mars went into Pisces on the 2nd of March, and Aries rising signs with this transit of their ruling planet Mars in the 12th house, because you have what we call a natural chart, Aries rising signs really do embody the astrology more organically than others, because planets moving through particular zodiac signs do impact Aries rising signs' own natal houses. So they're a little bit more sensitive and in tune with the cosmos than others. And yeah, Aries rising signs, they're the least interested in my YouTube channel. I don't know why. I'm an Aries rising and I love astrology, but maybe Aries rising signs are just too busy. Who knows? Okay, so the ruling planet Mars. Mars, our ruling planet, is still in Pisces until the 9th. So the 12th house, isn't savory. It gets a bit of a bad rap, but we have to talk about the reality is because you're talking about astrology. And if you listen to astrology and planets in transits and go, well, I just want to know what's happening for me. Well, Mars in the 12th house is difficult. The 12th house is connected to hospitals, institutions. Think mental institutions, psychiatric wards where we're on the therapist's sofa and we are talking about our past lives, what went on in childhood, what went wrong with our jobs and our partners. You're in a therapy session of your own free will, or maybe you aren't. But that is the natal 12th house. Hospitals, institutions, therapy, places we go to heal. So is that such a bad thing? Aries rising signs with their Mars, their planetary ruler Mars in the 12th house. Maybe it's good to finally go to hospital and get a procedure done. So we're removing something toxic or something that's making our physical body sick. Or we're going into therapy. We're getting things out of our monkey mind. So we're clearer. So we feel like we don't have something always swimming in our unconscious. Is that a bad thing? Absolutely not. And ruling planet Mars in the 12th house is a great time to do such things. Get into the soul self, the divine, tune into spiritual knowledge, the oracle, esotericism, using divinatory to help your life. Have a tarot reading, have an astrology reading. Are these bad things? No. The 12th house gets a really bad rap. But the 12th house does have some components to it that can, they sound very frightening for people. But every natal house in the astrological chart has its pros and cons. And the natal 12th house is also connected to hidden enemies. So hidden enemies could be self-sabotaging behaviors. It could be a person that's a hidden enemy, like your best friend or your neighbor. A hidden enemy can be a psychological pattern. It could be an addiction. Now, you gamble too much, you drink too much, you take too much risk, you put yourself in high risk environmental situations, and they're your hidden enemies. But you're drawn to it, like you're lured to things like a moth to a flame in Pisces. Oh, it's all right, I'm just bliss bombing out. No, you excess, hidden enemy. So Mars is going through that. So for some Aries rising signs, you're smartening up and becoming really aware of your hidden enemies. And so you can have more agency and advocacy over your own self-direction instead of being lost in the source and the juice. Important transit, absolutely. And the 12th house is also connected to theft, where we do not have our minds right. Not theft as someone steals your car. We're talking about theft of our spirituality, our soul selves, where we just can feel we have no control And that's a scary place for people to be in. Absolutely, can't sugarcoat the realities of some natal houses that can be pretty in your face, literally. And that's the 12th house. So Mars this month on the 9th moves out of the 12th house and into the first sign of Aries. And that's going to be a big shift for you as an Aries rising sign. So if you listen to your last month horoscope of March 2026, and if you have any comments or feedback for your Cosmic Girl, please put them in the comments section below in the video. I really do like interacting with the public and seeing if any of my astrological predictions did come to pass for each rising sign. So thank you in advance if you're brave enough to do such a thing, Aries rising signs. All right, so let's get into specific dates that I think are going to be very important for Aries rising signs. Let's get into it. Okay, on the 2nd, we have a full moon in Libra at 12 degrees. All right, let's get deep here because it is your natal 7th house, which is an angular part of your natal chart, Aries rising signs. It's the opposite sign to your first house, the 7th house. And so this is about others, not the individual. The full moon's lighting up other people. It can be about marriage, it can be a significant relationship in your life, but it is more about other people. And you've got a full moon here. And so full moons is where we get clarity, where we see something very clearly. And the moon is the ruler of your natal 4th house of Cancer. So that's the subterranean part of your natal chart. It's about home, ancestry. It's to do with family. It's to do with your domestic life. It's a private part of the natal chart. Cancer. And the ruler, the moon of Cancer, the 4th house, is in the natal 7th house. And a full moon is an opposition between the sun and the moon. And the sun is in your natal 1st house, exalted, very powerful. Sun in the 1st house of Aries. So the sun, exalted in the 1st house, is shining on the moon. And this can be very sobering because the full moon in Libra, the moon ruling the 4th in the 7th, this could be the end of a relationship. Think you're done with a family member. So that's not always nice, but it can be a reality where you disclose or come to some sort of recognition that you don't want to be a part of family. That could be because of a relationship that you're in or a marriage partner. It could also signify, because there's many variables, I don't know every Aries rising signs natal chart, so I'll throw some things out there. The ruler of the 4th in the 7th house. This could be the end of a family, units, traditions. This could be the turnover of the family lineage, like a family member passes away. Very big possibility. A marriage partner or a partner that you have in your life, business, personal, or otherwise, could lose a family member. Very possible on the 2nd of March. That's not to scare you. This is just my astrological interpretations. Don't have to die on the sword over this stuff. And the ruler of the 4th in the 7th in a full moon phase. This could be the end of a mortgage, a place you call home. This could be, I want to move, or things are clear enough in as much as information about the probabilities of relocating or a significant change with a family member about relocating, or even getting married or dissolving something connected to their own personal home or a relationship. Big possibility. Full moon in Libra at 12 degrees on the 2nd of March. So primarily we want to keep in our astrological back pockets. This full moon is in the 7th house. It's not the 1st house, it's the 7th. So the only thing that's happening here with the full moon phase is that you're seeing things clearly. And that could mean big disclosures about fairness and justice and equality and balance, what's right, what's wrong. And it can factor into a lot of heightened emotions and feelings. It is a full moon where things can be really quite potent. It is on the 9th of April that Mars moves into your first house until May 18. So let's talk about the first house, Aries rising signs, what it signifies. It's the most significant part of your natal chart, the first house, because it is about life, your life, new beginnings. It's your body, your physical body. It is your identity, your sense of I am, who am I? And it is also connected to your appearance. So how you want to project and how other people see you. So Mars in the first house from the 9th of April to May 18 is going to be quite the transit. If you have a natal Mars in the first house, well, this information will be doubly so for you. You're going to have a Mars return. So Mars hasn't been in Aries for over 2 years in the first house. So this can feel like, wow, I really am starting new things. I'm really throwing myself into self-advocacy, self-direction, self-determination. I am the boss of me. I do have my hand on the wheel. I am at the helm of the ship. Really, really nice transit. Mars in the first house from the 9th of April to May 18. So when we break it down through the lens of astrology, this transit can have you appearing to others as a proactive person, like you're getting shit done. Wow, Aries rising signs is starting, I don't know, a new health program, or Aries rising signs is starting their own business. Aries rising signs is doing their own thing. They're running their own race, and that can inspire other people, but it also shows other people that you really are determined on steering your compass to your own desire, not others. So this is about self-interest and self-mastery from the 9th of April to May 18. Really powerful Aries rising signs. And it's the first house. So you could be starting a new learning journey. It is Aries. So Aries is all about learning and new beginnings, and they're very young. They can be very naive at times. So you might be starting to develop more muscle, be that physical, mental, spiritual, or actual. You're starting to become the adult in the room. And that really can take people by surprise when Mars is in the first house of appearances. People say, oh my God, Aries isn't juvenile at all. Aries is actually the adult in the room here. So Mars in the first house can make you very attractive to people, and people can see you as being the captain of your ship more organically, where you're starting to step up the ante, level up, start to really show yourself what you've got, and other people will start to see that in a really favorable light, because Aries, when they're on top of their game, Aries rising signs, they're magnetic, they're magnanimous, they're like, oh my God, Aries rising signs have so much energy, they have so much life force, they're very optimistic. You become very attractive to other people when Mars is in the natal first house. So the only caveat with that is don't let other people siphon your energy or steal your identity or overtake your emotions that much that you lose yourself in other, or lose yourself in playing a particular part. You've got to keep it very singular when Mars is in the first house, because you need you more than anything. So you're really starting to parent yourself in a new way when Mars is in the first house of Aries from the 9th of April to May 18. Enjoy. We have such a rare conjunction happening on the 13th of April. We have Mars conjunct Neptune. The last time Mars conjunct Neptune, FYI, was on the 19th of May, 1866, and that was at 11 degrees. This conjunction's happening at 2 degrees. So that's how rare this is, a Mars Neptune conjunction. Neptune hasn't been in Aries for over 165 years. So I'd be an absolute wizard if I get this prediction right for Aries rising signs. I've got no shame in saying it. Okay, so Mars is your ruling planet in the first house. You're at the helm, you're in control. And then on the 13th, Mars conjuncts Neptune. This is a transpersonal planet. So it's an outer planet. It's a generational planet. And Neptune has so many archetypal meanings. It's dreamy, it's spiritual, it's foggy, it's to do with film and fantasy and idealism. It's about unity consciousness, not individualism. So Mars in Aries in your first sign, the individual I am, is conjuncting Neptune, the generational planet of we're all collectively and universally connected. We're all together. And so this day on the 13th, actually, I just realized it's the day before my birthday because I'm an Aries rising sign and an Aries sun sign. So this is happening in my first house on the 13th, the day before my birthday. Fascinating. Okay, I digress. It's only because I just realized. Yep. So Mars in Aries conjunction Neptune, so rare, this conjunction. And what are conjunctions? Well, they're when two planets get together at the same degree of a zodiac sign, and it's happening at 2 degrees of Aries. So I would encourage all Aries rising signs listening out there, look at your own natal chart. Do you have anything at 2 degrees of Aries? I've got Neptune, not Neptune. I've got I'm oversharing here, but I've got Mercury in the first house of Aries at 3 degrees on my ascendant. So super close, this conjunction. Okay, so Mars conjunct Neptune. I'll just throw some delineations out there archetypally what I think this can be about, because I like I said, I would be an absolute genius if I hit this on the head. Neptune, transpersonal planet, outer planet, generational planet. Neptune is very idealistic, runs with a status quo, like runs with a trend. So Neptune can flavor, if you will, your ruling planet Mars. So think this conjunction is like, look, I'm like this, and Mars in Aries in the first house, and you're like that. So very different planets. Mars is very instinctual, acts on desire. So when it conjuncts Neptune, you could want to have a photo shoot, instigate new norms and traditions of your own liking, being very individual and say, these are my standards, my moral and ethical compass on this day. And to boot with anyone else thinks, I'm setting a new trend for myself. Mars conjunct Neptune, you could be under anesthetic, under the influence of drugs or alcohol. You could be having an esoteric moment. You could be having a divinatory reading, consulting with the oracle, consulting with your spiritual soul self on this day. Mars conjunct Neptune, dissolving. Neptune has a dissolving component. So this could be where you want to dissolve something from the physical body. This could be like water, urine. Sorry, that sounds a bit crass, but true. Water, urine, oils, tears. Big day on the 13th. Mars and Aries conjunct Neptune. Remember, this is so rare. If I hit anything on this day that lands, please put it in the comment section below, because As an astrologer, I mean, I'm very confident about the 7 traditional planets, but this being so rare, yeah, I'm not so much. And I'm okay with admitting that and owning up to it. Okay, so Mars in Aries conjunct Neptune in Aries in the first house, 2 degrees on the 13th of April. Can be whimsical, fantastical, magical, life altering, and you could be, yeah, starting new traditions, new norms. Could even also influence generations. Yeah, that potent on the 13th. Mars conjunct Neptune. On the 15th, we have Mercury move into Aries until May 3rd. So now we have Mercury, the exalted sun in Aries, Mars in Aries, Saturn in Aries, Neptune in Aries, and Chiron in Aries. So that's 5 planets in Aries rising signs, first house. That's quite a lot to have a transit like that in your first house, and doubly so if these transiting planets are in your own natal first house, Aries rising signs. Um, I'd be really surprised if they are. But okay, so on the 15th, Mercury goes into your first house. So Mercury is really strong in the natal first house, as is Mars in the first house. Absolutely. As is the sun in the first house. So you've got the wind at your back from the 15th of April moving forward, at least until the 20th, 21st, with this stellium of planets and the sun being exalted and Mars being in domicile and Mercury in the first house, which is very strong for Mercury. This is a block of time from the 15th to the 20th of March where things can really start feeling like life is taking over in a very positive way. Okay, so Mercury in the first house. Well, Mercury is the mind, is the messenger of the gods. So you'll be a little bit more in tune to your 5 senses with Mercury in the first house. Really good at clarity, Mercury in the first house, on self-direction and self-advocacy. So really good for making really succinct decisions, especially when it comes to finances, commerce and trade, communication, uh, the way you speak and the way you appear, and also how you travel will be really precise, very precision like Mercury in the first house. Mercury is a messenger of the gods. So this can be really great for tuning into esotericism, spirituality, Mercury in the first house, and be proactive in actioning your thoughts. So starting a new writing program, learn a new language, um, plan a travel destination, or actually go on a pilgrimage. Mercury in the first house, the traveler, the planet of travel, Mercury in the first house of Aries from the 15th of April to May 3rd. And Mercury may also find some areas may start to focus in on improvements with technology. So researching about technological gadgets or science may be a real interest for Aries rising signs. So you might want to purchase a computer, a new phone, any technological tool that can help your day-to-day operations run smoothly. Mercury in the first house on the 15th of April to May 3rd, that may be a primary focus for some Aries rising signs. And also cars, bikes, trains, planes, canoes, you name it, any way we can travel may also be a big focus for Aries rising signs with Mercury in the first house. Okay, so that will be good. Good. Mercury in the first house is always really good. Mercury has a sharpest attack, like quick on our feet, very quick. Okay, so on the 16th, the next day, the Sun conjuncts Chiron, Mercury conjuncts Neptune, and Mars sextiles Pluto. What a lit day. Sun exalted in Aries in your first house, conjunct Chiron. It finally releasing something that has been very painful. This could be the annual cry that you've been holding back on. This could be a fantastic day for releasing, purging, and detoxing something that has prevented you from being authentic, your authentic self. Beautiful when the sun conjuncts Chiron. Mercury conjunct Neptune. Again, we have another rare conjunction, Aries rising signs, when Mercury conjuncts Neptune. So Mercury, the messenger of the gods, conjunct Neptune. Like, what a day for uh, going into spaces with our minds that really do satiate and fill our own cups up, kind of day on the 16th with Mercury conjunct Neptune. And Mercury conjunct Neptune is also a great day for anything esoteric, working with oracle divinatory tools. There'll be a really nice, easy flowing energy from different dimensions beyond the veil kind of day with Mercury conjunct Neptune. Also connected to travel and finance and the intellect. The 16th can be a day of absolute concise clarity about things that are distracting or fantasy like, really nice, Mercury conjunct Neptune. And also Mars, your ruling planet, is sextiling Pluto. So the sextile aspects are easy aspects. So it's easy to like connect or have an opportunity. That's what a sextile is. It's almost familiar, a sextile. So when Mars sextiles Pluto, and so it's easy to get hidden information. It's easy to get connections. It's easy to access things that are invisible. Again, this like a divinatory day. I would have a reading on this day astrologically or with tarot, consult the I Ching, have a Ouija board kind of day on the 16th. Looks extra potent for information that may have been lost in translation or not at hand, sort of lands on the 16th. Please, Aries rising signs listening, I do encourage you to put some feedback into the May horoscope video for your rising sign next month about the 16th, because something really big is happening. And it's like a cosmic download. Doesn't that sound Neptunian? But that's what this screams to me. Sun conjunct Chiron, Mercury conjunct Neptune, Mars sextile Pluto, extracting the unbelievable on the 16th. The next day on the 17th, if that's not enough, we've got a new moon in your first house at 27 degrees. And so new moons are very quiet. They're not loud like a full moon where we see something very clearly. Emotions are all out on the table. There's something being disclosed. This is different. New moons are where we really slow things down and start to move towards something that's very quiet and personal. And it's in your first house of self, your body, your identity, your appearance, new beginnings, the I am part of your natal chart. So this I am component of a new moon in your first house at 27 degrees really heralds a new dawn of emotional security or maturity. This can be where you really start to boss up from the 17th with the new moon in Aries at 27 degrees. So starting to really feel into your skin and feeling really motivated on feeling emotionally satiated, safe and secure. Again, the moon, the ruler of the fourth, Cancer in the first, in a new blooming phase. So this could be a turnover of tradition in the family that you're part of, or a new family condition, rule, or law is impacting you and you're moving with this new change or an integral part of this new change from the 17th of April moving forward with a new moon in Aries in your first house at 27 degrees. On the 19th, we have another rare conjunction. We've got Mars conjunct Saturn in Aries in your natal first house. It's at 7 degrees. So the last time Mars conjunct Saturn Aries first house was the 2nd of April 1998, but that was at 21 degrees. Just for your own personal reference, if you want to delve back to that time, or if it's of interest to you astrologically with planets in transits. Okay, so Mars conjunct Saturn, easier to delineate than Mars Neptune, that's for sure. Okay, so Mars conjunct Saturn in the first sign, your first house. Yeah, it always heralds a massive generational, traditional turnover. When Mars conjunct Saturn, both of these planets are really good at endings. So on the 19th, this could be a massive completion point when your planetary ruler Mars conjuncts Saturn in the first house. Think long cycles. So this has been a 28-year thing coming if you are an older Aries rising signs listening out there, or if you are between the ages of 27, nearly 28. This is pretty big for you. Okay, so when Mars conjuncts Saturn, it is a finalizing of a reality connected to the first house of your identity, the I am component, Aries. It can be about your physical body. It can also indicate that you are about to initiate something new, something brand new, very Saturnian-like, Saturn things like structures, time. Saturn is connected to bones, skin, teeth. Saturn is sage, wise, wisdom of take things slowly. So the 19th is it's just like screaming a brand new structure, a brand new form. And you're an integral part of it because your ruling planet Mars is in the first house and it's conjuncting Saturn. So out with the old, in with the new is what I'm getting on the 19th. That's very potent for Aries rising signs indeed. All right, another big day astrologically is on the 20th. We've got a triple conjunction, Mercury conjunct Mars and Saturn in your natal first house. This is poignant, potent, important, significant because Mercury is the messenger of the gods. Mercury is about finance, travel, information. Mercury in the first house, street smarts, intelligence. Mercury in the first house, conjunct Mars and Saturn. Knowing exactly where you're directing your energy, your frequencies and vibrations day on the 20th. Really great day for an esoteric practice of some sort. Mercury, the messenger of the god, conjuncting your ruling planet Mars and Saturn in the first house of self. Yeah. And could be a big day of declaration, whether that's you stepping up to a microphone and announcing something very big and important, or information really does come in fast on the 20th that helps you navigate your well-laid plans moving forward quite easily. Really big day on the 20th. My goodness. I'm an Aries rising too, so I'm like, oh, wow. But I know what's going on in my life, so I don't think this will be too surprising for some Aries rising signs listening to this horoscope report for them. This may just be the validation you need that, yes, things are really starting to move exponentially and quite quickly, and you're probably going, thank Christ for that, like I am. Okay, on the same day, on the 20th, the sun moves out of Aries rising signs natal first house. So the sun won't return to your first house for another 12 months, where the sun has been exalted since the 20th of March 2026. So sun has now finished its transit in your natal first house, infusing lots of enthusiasm and optimism and drive to shine and grow and go, and you do you authentically. Sun has fueled you up And now the sun moves into the second house of Taurus until May 21. So when the sun goes into the natal second house, we're building on our self-esteem. We're really tuning into what we value and love. And we're really getting quite savvy at cultivating the potentials of expanding on our financial portfolios and anything to do with skill building, our resources and our livelihood, and developing a real niche for injecting more life force on the tangible parts of our reality, like assets and possessions. Transit with the sun in the second house of Taurus from the 20th of April to May 21st. What a month, April 2026. I think it's a game changer for Aries rising signs, especially. Thanks for tuning in. You can contact me at the email being cosmicgirl101 at protonmail.com if you have any astrological questions. I can help you. Just reach out to me. And yes, if you have any predictions yourself about these conjunctions or the transits of the month of April, yeah, put them in the comment section below. I'd love to interact with you and get all other Aries rising signs into the conversation. All right. Till next time, Aries rising signs of the zodiac, have a stellar month of April. And remember, stay cosmic.